What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone. Welcome to another video. We're going to do something a little different today. I've always wanted to try this. So we're going to do a how-to video. We're going to talk about how to float the tremolo on a Stratocaster. Okay, but instead of just doing a video about it and then having a bunch of people ask questions in the comments, what I thought we would do is I'm going to show you how to do it live, sort of. So we'll have a conversation about it as we go. We'll go through the steps. I actually pre-recorded the steps, and so we will kind of talk about all of this. So if you have questions about how to do this, pop in the comments, and we'll try to do that. As with all of our live streams, these are ad-free. So if you want to support the channel, you can use a super chat to ask a question. You can use the links in the description that support the channel. We're going to talk about some tools and stuff as we do this. And yeah, here we go. Here's what we'll tell you. Just right off the rip, this thing, to do this without any video editing and all the explaining, takes about 10 minutes. Okay, so it's not a complicated process. If for those of you that remember way back in the beginnings of YouTube, there was an Italian guy, his name was Frudua. And this is kind of, I have adapted his method to this and to Floyd Rose's. Kind of the same concept, just applied a little bit differently, that will make it to where you can then float a tremolo on a Strat. So what we're talking about when we talk about floating a trem is to be able to get this warble. Okay? Because typically when we have a Stratocaster, it starts with the tremolo right on the body. So the first thing we want to look at here is this. So we see the initial angle of the trem, okay? We want it right against the body, and see how it's kind of angled back a little bit? All right, the way we accomplish that is we take our screws in the back and we just tighten them up just a little bit so that this thing is actually tight against the body like we talked about. And on a six-screw tremolo, these screws just need to be a little bit loose. We don't want them tightened all the way down. It needs to be able to rock back and forth, very easily, and not bind on anything. And then have it tight to the body like that. You see how it's got that little back angle, right? And then the very next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to make an adjustment to this angle, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Post-it notes. We're going to put it underneath that until it's level, parallel with the body, or as close as we can get it to parallel with the body, okay? And it looks like we have a super chat from Dave, and he says, ad-free is for me. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. So once we have the tremolo parallel with the body, okay? And let's look at this one more time because this is kind of important. When we look at this angle and you see how the front of the trem is up just a little bit, and once it's level with the body, it's actually got a little gap in there, okay? That's actually how a properly set up six-screw tremolo should be. It should be a little bit up in the front, and then once we level it, it'll be level. Now, once it is leveled, okay, don't take the Post-it notes out. At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to actually tighten, we're going to actually tune the string, the G string, to a G, okay? Because probably as we lifted this up, here, hang on a second. As we lifted this up, we probably brought it a little bit flat, and then that made it to where we need to tune the string back up. Come on. The camera took off on me. Here we go. So level it, pull it, level it, don't pull it out. Tune your G string to a G, but only the G string. We don't have to tune the whole guitar, okay? And then the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to use more Post-it notes, and we're going to take this G string and we're going to tune it down to an E by stacking Post-it notes underneath it. Okay, so it's going to look, let's see, hang on, here we go. It's going to look something like this. We're going to continue to tune it. See, we've got the G string there, okay? And we're going to continue to tune it, and as we go along here, we're going to be taking Post-it notes. We're going to be stacking them. Let's see, that is the wrong video. Hang on. Oh, it's probably just too long. Yeah, so here we go. So this is what we're doing. We're basically going to use these Post-it notes, and we're going to go from on the G string, and we're going to tune it down to an E with the stack of Post-it notes underneath the tremolo. Okay, and again, we're going to leave them in there. Okay, and that's going to make the whole guitar kind of flat. But we want to go from a G to an E with our G string, just our G string. Don't worry about the rest of the guitar yet. Once we have a stack of Post-it notes underneath here, and we've basically sort of, decided, okay, this is where we've got this down to an E with our G string. We're going to leave it there, and then we're going to tune all the other strings up to pitch with the Post-it notes stuck underneath there. Okay, then we're going to pull it out. And what's going to happen is, all of a sudden, the whole guitar is going to go like that. It's going to go sharp. Okay. And then the very next thing we're going to do is we are going to then turn the guitar back around backwards, and we're going to tune the high E string and the low E string with the screws in the tremolo. And as we do this, we're going to be loosening them. And what that's going to allow that to do is then allow it to relax. So see, I'll tune the low E and I'll tune the high E, and that'll basically bring the bridge up evenly on both sides, okay, if that makes sense. And what that does, like I said, is it relaxes the tremolo, and then now you have this gap. Now, I'm not touching the tuners at all, okay? I'm not touching the tuners at all. Remember, the whole guitar is sharp at this point, and I'm just flattening it down to pitch. Once that's done, the guitar will actually be, believe it or not, the guitar will actually be, once you're done with that, will be in tune. And your tremolo will be floated. Now there's a couple more steps after that, but let's see if we have any questions up to this point relating to this. It doesn't look like it so far. Okay. So then the other thing that happens when we have now raised our tremolo off of the guitar, our action has come up. With a Strat style tremolo, because it's a fulcrum, our action has come up, right? We've raised everything up. So then basically at this point, then what we need to do is we need to check our string height. So we take our string height gauge out. I've used my StewMac string height gauge, and basically recheck my string height. I get mine down to 60 thousandths or whatever I set it at, and I reset it. Now, once we do that, then the other thing we're going to have to do, once we get our string height back to normal, is then we will have to check our intonation. So then we'll just adjust our intonation correctly, and then the guitar will be back to good, be back to setup. And that's it. That's basically it. So literally level it with some Post-it notes, tune it to a G, use a stack of Post-it notes to go down to an E, pull them out, tune the guitar up to pitch, pull it out, use the screws on the back to tune it, and then check your measurements afterwards. And that's it. And as long as you don't have any other friction issues, you'll have a perfectly floated tremolo. And I'm pretty sure the way this ends up working is you have a step and a half on the G. Yep. About a step on the B and a half a step on the E. Yep. So it ends up being, that's pretty much right around kind of like the Jeff Beck sort of deal. Let's see. See if there's any questions here. I love that same I have that same 65 reissue Strat. This is not a 65 reissue Strat. This is a guitar that I built. This is one of my guitars, and this is based on a 63. And then we did some contouring here, nitrocellulose finish, and checked it and everything. It's got a set of our Highway 99 pickups in it, one of our loaded pick guards, Clues and hardware. This has got a Richlight fretboard. It's got luminescent side dots. Yeah, this is a pretty cool guitar. I built this for my grandfather, actually, and then he passed away and gave it back to me. So, yeah. Any adjustments needed when outside temperature changes? Winter is coming. Yeah, we're going to do another video on that. Temperature changes aren't really a big deal. You don't really need to worry about temperature changes as much as humidity. And as your guitar environment in your house changes, you start to use forced air heat, that sort of thing, then you're going to end up having more dry air in your house. And then you'll have to start worrying about making a couple of adjustments there. But I do need to do a video about that. We'll probably do that. Maybe next week we'll do that, actually, or maybe later this week, to get your guitars ready for winter. Don't worry about temperature so much. Temperature's not as big of a deal, but humidity definitely is. So there you go. That is how you do this. Even demonstrating this, we only took a few minutes. The video is 12 minutes long at this point. But it really is that easy. Don't worry about fighting with it. Now, a couple of things I'll tell you is make sure that you set your guitar up correctly first. So what I would say is get the strings that you're going to use on the guitar. So, if you're going to use 10s, if you're going to use 9s, whatever brand it is, put those on the guitar first. Check your neck relief, check your nut height, check your string height. Do a full setup on the guitar first before you do any of this. Because then when we move it, we're going to lose that reference. So we need to have the good setup on the guitar first. Okay. Mostly make sure your neck relief is right. And then after that, you can move it around. And also remember that as you change the angle of that bridge, you're going to have to change your string height as well. So we just use, I use a stack of Post-it notes. I've used playing cards before. I've used business cards. But Post-it notes work really well because they're small enough. Business cards can get a little thick, and if you want to make a little incremental change of one sheet worth or something, it's harder to do that. And then the other thing we use is our little StewMac toolkit here. Link in the description for this as well, to adjust our string height back to good, as well as our string height gauge back to good. And then the other thing that we used is our Peterson strobe tuner that I got this at Sweetwater. I put a link of this in the description too. This works really well. So there you go. That is pretty much it. That is how you do Float A Tremolo in about 10 minutes. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, you guys. Let me know what you think of this format. If we should do it this way again with some other technical kind of video, in case people have questions on the fly, let me know. And we will talk to you soon. I guess we'll see you tomorrow for our podcast.